teleconference. Prayer will be offered by City Clerk Susan Lovering, and Alderman Jetty will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty to manage the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you. As president of the Board of Aldermen, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-4, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. To access through WebEx, you need to go to the city's website to get the link. The meeting number access code is 718-669-011. The password is lowercase I, uppercase F, lowercase u, 4, capital S, lowercase p, lowercase v, uppercase A, uppercase X, 57. To join by telephone, 1-208-418-9388. The meeting access code is 718-669-011. Public may also view the meeting via channel 16. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting through public postings. Instructions have also been provided on the City of Nashua's website at nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall, the Public Health Department, and the Nashua Telegraph. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. D, adjourning the meeting. If the public is unable to access the meeting, the public via the methods mentioned above, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking the roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law, and whether you can hear us. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
I am present, I can hear you, and I am alone.
Alderman Clee.
I am here. I can hear you. And the only one in the house is my husband, who could possibly make an appearance, but he is not in the room with me now.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Alderman Kelly won't be joining us this evening.
Thank you. Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I can hear you, and I am alone practicing social distancing in accordance with the governor's order.
Alderman Carey. Alderman Clemmons.
Yes, I am here participating by WebEx, and I can hear everyone. There's no one in the room with me. I will just say that my bandwidth has been give or take, so if I lose you, I'll try to come back, but thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Lopez. Alderman Tenza.
I am present. I am alone and I can hear everyone.
Alderwoman Lou.
I'm present, I can hear you, and I'm alone.
Alderman Jettie.
I'm here, I'm alone, and I can hear you.
Alderman Schmidt.
I am here. I can hear you all, and I'm alone in the room.
Alderman Laws. Alderman Cleaver.
I'm present, I'm alone, and I can hear everybody so far.
Thank you. Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I am present. I can hear you. I am alone in this room, and I am pregnant. So,
Alderman Wilshire.
I am here, I am alone, and I am also practicing social distancing per the governor's order.
You have 11 in attendance.
Alderman Karen, did you join us? Okay, maybe not. Okay, at this point of the meeting, I'm going to turn it over to Alderman Tenza, who is the chair of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, to hold the public hearing. So it's over to you, Alderman Tenza.
Thank you, Madam President. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to hold a public hearing on 020-014 relative to temporary adjustment to site plans. With us here tonight is Director Sarah Marchant from Community Development. Director Marchant, if you could please explain or present what this proposal is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. This ordinance is to allow for the temporary modifications of site plans through the end of this year. Essentially, it allows us to quickly turn around approvals for outdoor dining in what would traditionally be parking areas or landscaped areas. We have developed a system in partnership with economic development, public health, fire, and public works. And so everybody is still involved in the review process. We need to turn these around quickly and get these businesses up and running. Without this legislation, it would many times be full planning board process because of the items that are happening here. Specifically, it would be difficult for people still to meet parking minimums, to meet the landscaping open space minimums, and some setbacks. And so we're working with them on a case-by-case basis to make sure everything's safe, but to make sure that we can get our businesses open and functioning as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Director Marchant. Now, the meeting will turn to the public comment portion of the meeting. I will be asking for testimony in favor of this ordinance, then testimony in opposition. Once both parties have had a chance to speak on it, I'll again ask for testimony in favor and then for testimony in opposition. If you would like to speak, please just make yourself known here when it is when you feel it's your turn to speak. So I will first call for testimony in favor of this ordinance. Okay, hearing none, I will call for testimony against ordinance 02014. Again, hearing none, I will call for testimony in favor again of this ordinance. Hearing none, I will call for testimony in opposition to the ordinance. Okay, hearing none, I will call on.
I just have a question. Whenever you say in favor, you can hear somebody saying something. Not sure who it is. But somebody
Sure
was, you can go as in favor. I think it's a good thing. Just
Sure.
saying. You keep saying none, but I hear something every time you say favor.
So I'll give someone one more opportunity if you have testimony in favor, please just announce yourself, state your name and your address. Okay, Alderwoman Harriet Gathright, is that sufficient?
Alderman
Yes.
Tenza,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I meant to say there is one edit modification I would like to propose. I think there was a typo. The last line of the first paragraph, it says, the last sentence, fee shall be charged for such review or approval. It should say no fee shall be charged for such review or approval. And so it's just adding the word no before the word fee.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up during the public comment portion. Given that amendment, is there anyone who would like to speak now in favor of this ordinance? One more time, we'll ask if anyone would like to speak against or in opposition to the ordinance. Okay, hearing no one, I will ask Alderman O'Brien for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn by roll call.
Thank you. The motion is to adjourn by roll call. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Tenza,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Cleaver,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes.
You have 11 yeas and 0 nays.
And the public hearing on O-2014 is adjourned at 7:12 p.m.
Good night, everyone.
Okay.
Good night.
If I may, immediately following, unless anybody needs a break, please state if you do, but we can jump right into the joint Committee on Infrastructure and Planning and Economic Development. Would any of the aldermen like to take a short break?
I'll stay.
Okay. We're all set? Okay. All right, since we're ready to go, I'll call a joint meeting of the Committee on Infrastructure and Planning and Economic Development Committee. And it's going to be held on May 27, 2020 at 7:15 via teleconference. As Chairman of the Committee on Infrastructure, as well as the Chairman of the Committee of Planning and Economic Development, Dave Tenza, we find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to the executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. To access the WebEx site, constituents may go to the City of Nashville website and pick up the WebEx website. The meeting number access code is 718-669-011. A password of lowercase I, uppercase F, lowercase U, the number 4, uppercase S, lowercase T, lowercase G, uppercase A, uppercase X, with the numbers 57. To join by phone, you can call 1-408-418-9388. The meeting number and access code is 718-669-011. B, providing public notice of necessary information for assessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for assessing the meeting through public posting. Instructions have also been provided to the City of Nashville's website at www.nashvillenewhampshire.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and the Public Health Department. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you to connect. B, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods mentioned above, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that the meeting shall be done by a roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during the meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So Alderman Schmidt, will you please call the roll call and ask each member to state the reason why he or she could not attend, confirm they could hear the proceedings, and stated who was present with him or her.
Thank you, and Alderman O'Brien. Alderman O'Brien.
Present. Alone, and I can hear the proceedings and practicing safe distancing.
Thank you. Alderman Lopez. Alderman Jan Schmidt is here, and I am alone, and I can hear the proceedings. Alderman Jettie.
I'm here, I'm alone, I can hear you, and I'm not there because I'm obeying the governor's order to stay home.
Alderman Tenza.
I am here. I am alone. I can hear the proceedings, and I'm also practicing social distancing.
Clemens.
Yeah, I am here. I am alone, and I am obeying the governor's order.
Alderman at Large Brandon Laws is not here today. Let's see who else is here. Linda Harriet Gathright, you are here.
Yes,
We
I'm
have Corporate Counsel Bolton. We have Nicholas Fresca. Am I missing anyone?
I'm here, Alderman Schmidt.
Alderman Klee, thank you.
Alderman
we have-
Cleaver.
I'm here as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alderman
And
Cleaver
Cleaver.
is also present.
All present and accounting for. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 members of the board are present.
Alderman
Mr.
Dowd is
Chairman.
here too.
Oh, thank you. Full house. Thank you very much. 5 committee members are present.
Okay, thank you to the clerk. To the clerk, communication.
From Linda McGee, Deputy Planning Manager, a referral from the Board of Aldermen on proposal Resolution 2033, authorizing the mayor to execute a re-referral from confirmation deed for the Pennachuck Waterworks. There being no objection, Chairman O'Brien, accept this communication and place it on file.
Petitions,
There are none.
unfinished business,
Again, there are none.
new business resolution.
We have Resolution 20-33, authorizing the mayor to execute a confirmation deed to Pennachuck Waterworks. Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend final passage by roll call.
Thank you to the clerk. I would like to give the opportunity to brief us on this to Mr. Nicholas Frascas. Would you so inclined to give us a briefing on this, please?
Absolutely. Happy to do so. Again, Attorney Nick Frasca on behalf of Pennachuck Waterworks. This deals with a missing deed for property formerly known as Tax Map 52, Lot 57. That's now part of Tax Map 52, Lot 49. The city took the property for taxes back in 1961. Pennachuck has been paying taxes on the property for as long as anyone can remember. The city assessor actually acknowledges that the lot in question is owned by Pennachuck. The issue is that there's a missing deed. We can't find the deed, the original deed on record at the Registry of Deeds, and therefore requesting that the mayor on behalf of the city execute a confirmatory deed so that we can clear the title up.
Thank you, Mr. Practice. Will we put a quick question to our own corporate counsel? Everything seems to be in order, of course.
I concur with everything Attorney Frasca said. It does appear they've been paying taxes, or Pennachuck, that is, has been paying taxes on the property for decades. Since before Nick was born, anyway. And I don't think anyone seriously doubts that there was an intent to convey this, and other properties were conveyed. And either it happened and it got lost on the way to the registry, or there was some other oversight and it didn't happen exactly as it was supposed to, when it was supposed to. This is strictly to rectify a situation that you all agree ought to be rectified.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Counselor. Any other member of the board would like to comment on 20-033? Alderman
sorry.
Jettie.
Did you say Alderman Jettie?
Yes, Alderman Jettie, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I just want to make sure that Attorney Frasca promises not to lose this deed on his way to the registry.
Well, Alderman Jettie, I'll have to e-record this. I'll have to do it electronically, so that'll make it a little more difficult to lose it.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. All set, Alderman Jettie?
Yes, thank you.
Alderman Harriet Gaspar.
I just have a question. Where was this location?
This is property off Manchester Street, adjacent to Pennachuck Junior High School.
Adjacent to Pennachuck High School?
Pennachuck Junior High,
Okay.
or Pennachuck Middle School, as it's, I think, now called.
I know where that is. So is it like a home or is it just like land?
No, it's just land.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Just
there's-
curious.
yeah, it's a forested property.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other comment from any members of the committee? Alderman Dow.
Yeah, just for clarification, it's part of those lots, that series of lots that are all unoccupied, most of them owned by Pennachuck, and where you're looking to put a solar farm at some point?
Yes, that's correct, Alderman Dowd.
Okay, and all the streets are paper streets, and at some point we'll have to discontinue all the paper streets.
We're not sure we're going to have to go down that road in terms of discontinuance, but that's probably a conversation for another day, and not
Yep.
necessarily.
We don't need to do it tonight.
No.
Alderman Cleaver, I have a question, please.
Yes, Alderman Cleaver, you are recognized.
Thank you very much. What is the size of this lot?
This lot is, I think it's 60 feet by 100 feet.
So it's one of many, you say?
Yes, it's one of 105 lots that came off of an 1897 subdivision plan.
Between Pennachuck Junior High and the bridge?
This property is between Pennachuck Junior High and other property owned by Pennachuck on Manchester Street. To the east of this property is the Hayden Green condominiums.
Thank you.
Further questions by any alderman? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll call vote?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez. Alderman Schmidt says yes. Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Tenza,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Motion carries. New business orders.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Mr. Fresca.
Joining us tonight.
Take care.
Next, we have ordinance 2008, and that is changing the starting time of the overnight parking time limit in certain locations.
Can I ask the clerk to pause? This bill 020-008 is the prime sponsor is Beth Clemens. The chair recognized Alderman Clemens for a motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to recommend indefinite postponement of 020-008, and I'd like to speak to that.
Granted, please.
Thank you. So this originally was a companion piece to the last call ordinance, which we disposed of by indefinite postponement in, I believe it was in March. And the it was held at the Personnel Committee because at the time, the Personnel Committee had recommended passage of the 2 a.m., I call it the 2 a.m. bill. And that, but ultimately, and then the idea was we would come back to this because there was some questions. But I had made a promise to some of the co-sponsors on this that if the overnight, if the 2 a.m. bill did not pass, then I would make a motion to recommend indefinite postponement because to this piece of legislation, because it would be unnecessary, because the only reason really to take this up would have been if we were serving alcohol till 2 a.m., restaurants would be open till 2 a.m., and thus you would want to start the overnight parking time limit later. Since we're not doing that, the idea is that our starting time for the overnight parking should remain the way that it is. At least that's my thinking. And so therefore, I am recommending that the committee vote to indefinitely postpone.
Thank you, Alderman Clemens. Any other questions from the Alderman? Alderman Clay.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate Alderman Clemens being a true man of his word. This, in my opinion, is unnecessary, as it really was, as he pointed out, a companion bill. I think it would hurt our overnight parking ordinance if we were to change this, and I think at this point things should stay as they are, at least for the overnight parking for now. So I encourage you all to vote indefinite postponement. Thank you for hearing me.
Additional comments on 0-20-008. Alderman Harriet Gaffney.
I just have a question. So if you guys vote indefinite postponement, it can come back up, correct?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please, Alderman Clemens.
I would think so, because this was very specific to metered spaces, and it was very specific in the time frame that was proposed. So if there was a desire or whatever for another alderman to bring forward legislation to, completely eliminate overnight parking or to change it to some different times or something like that in all spaces or whatever, I would think that it'd be my opinion that yes, legislation could come forward because it would be different than what this is.
What this is. So I guess my question would be, so it's kind of like that's holding on to the legislation. Is there a way to just get rid of it so that it's no longer there? Is it something like a withdrawal or something of that nature? Just curious.
The only thing if Mr. Chairman, if I could continue.
Yes, absolutely, Alderman Thomas.
Thank you. Yeah, the only thing that we could really do is just table it, you know, and leave it on the table. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I know that I have no desire for this to go forward. You know, and it's not to say that I don't have any desire to talk about overnight parking in the future or under some other premise, but whereas this was so very specific, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't just, you know, dispose of it.
So then the question that I would give to Representative Alderman O'Brien to corporate
Yes.
counsel. So how do you just get rid of something like that when, like he said, it was specific to something that happened? How do you just
Corporate counsel, please.
Indefinite postponement has been the motion that's been used for 40 years to get something off your agenda, not have it keep coming back and being shown as you're keeping it on the table. There's nothing magic about the term indefinite postponement. You could say
Okay.
reject and it would have the same effect and it would be gone. For a good 40 years, the terminology that's been used when a measure is rejected by the Board of Aldermen has
Okay.
been indefinite postponement.
So that would be the highest. So thank you for that. So at least I know going forward, what's the highest?
Well, reject is technically higher, but it, for all practical purposes, is the same thing.
It's the same thing. Thank you.
Further questions from any members of the committee? Seeing none, the pending motion before us on 0-20-008 is indefinite postponement. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Jan Schmidt says yes. Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
And Alderman Clemens.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have 5 yeas and 0 nays.
Very good. Thank you to the clerk. Motion carries. Will the clerk please read the next bill by title only, and I'll look for a motion by the chair of the Planning and Economic Development Committee.
Title being relative to temporary adjustment to site plan.
Mr. Chairman, do you have a motion?
Yeah, yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to, for final passage of O-2014, to recommend final passage.
We have a motion before us on 0-20-014, a final passage. Any alderman would like to make further comment or further questions? We do still have the Community Development Director, Sarah Marchand, present.
Mr. Chairman, if I could also just make a motion at this time to amend O-2014 as written to reflect in the last sentence of the first paragraph that no fees shall be charged pursuant to the director's comments during the public hearing.
Which, yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do agree. Parliamentary inquiry to the corporate council. Should we recommend the final passage first and then the bill is open to further amendments? Or can we do it at the same time?
Probably you want to recommend an amendment and then recommend passage.
Okay. All right. Before us is Chairman of the Planning Economic Committee has an amendment. Can you bring forward your amendment again, and can the clerk please record?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the amendment would be add the word no before the word fee in the last the last sentence of the first paragraph of the ordinance.
Okay. Any further comment by any alderman on this amendment?
I just have a question. Oh,
Yes.
okay. I don't know why, but I have two ordinances here, and one of them have a second paragraph that says authorization and any approval issued thereunder shall not waive compliance with any building code, fire code, health code, or any other wise application provision of law. Is that the new one or is that the old one? Is
Alderman
that-
Kaiser, are you aware? Or Alderman, excuse me, yeah. Director Marchand, you're muted, so yes, please.
Sure. The, that wording is in the overall ordinance before you tonight in 020-14. That is the second paragraph.
Yes,
Yep, and so that is included in this.
okay. I was just checking because I don't know why I had two different ones.
Oh,
Thank you.
to check. Yes, that is included. We're not trying to waive any of those things. Simply the site plan, land use code 190.
Thank you.
Further discussion on the pending amendment? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
On the amendment to 20-04 or 014 to add the word no, Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt says yes, Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Tenza,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
That would be 5 yay and 0 nay.
Thank you, motion carries. I am now going to call the pending question of 0-20-014 as amended with the pending motion of final passage by Alderman Tenza. Any discussion on that motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
May I speak?
Yes, Alderman Clemmons, please.
Thank you. So I am in full support of this. I think it's a great tool that we can use to expedite some what I consider to be common sense things that shouldn't have to go through the rigmarole of the planning board. So, you know, especially whereas we're trying to get our business community back up on their feet, I think that this is a good measure, and it does have a time limit on it. It's to expire at the end of the year, but I think it's also worthwhile to see how it goes, because I think if it's successful, it might be something that we might want to look at even for the future. But I was happy to support it the way that it is here, and I support the amendment, obviously, and I hope that you know, it proves to be successful. Thank you.
Further questions on 0-20-014? Alderman Lou.
Thank you very much. My questions are, and you know, I may have an earlier version of this as well. Okay, I just wondered why January 1st was chosen for the expiration when we. So let me ask you that question first of all. What I'm thinking is, I think my understanding of this is that it's pretty tightly designed for changes that are strictly related to restaurants that want to serve outdoors. Is that right?
Yes. Director, yes. Director Marchand, Attorney Bolton. Did you get your answer, Alderman Lou?
I didn't hear Director Marchand's answer.
They confirm what they said, yes.
And and why January 1st was chosen instead of the November 15th date that I see, just so that we don't have to go back and redo this again. Okay. Chapter 190 is like 250 pages. And why is it that this wasn't more specifically geared to relevant part of chapter 190?
Attorney Bolton.
190 is the zoning ordinance and subdivision and site plan regulation. It covers such things as what Director Marchant spoke of before. It covers open space requirements and required side yard and backyard setbacks, open space, a number of required parking spaces, required loading zones, many of the things that we might want to expedite a restaurant being able to temporarily avoid if they wanted to set up a patio outside in what would have been required parking space. Now, since they won't be serving anyone inside, presumably they won't need all of those parking spaces. A normal planning board approval can take months, by which time the outdoor dining season would be largely over. So the idea was to be able to get a quick approval for something that will help in the immediate future. And basically it's intended to last this season. January 1st. One thing you should know is this measure was written before any of the Main Street related parking and narrowing and so forth. Because this is a zoning and land use ordinance, you have to go through this public hearing procedure, which delayed this measure beyond those other measures. Sometimes we have nice weather in November and December, and January 1st seemed like a good date to have this expire. You can amend it if you want it to match the other provisions where November 15th was the date. That's certainly within the authority of the Board of Aldermen to do. Chapter 190 is the land use provisions, which is what we're looking to be able to adjust. In many respects, we didn't want to overlook anything and find out that, yes, we'd accounted for open space and we'd accounted for required parking, but we want to waive a required setback and we're 2 feet over the line, and that's going to delay a particular restaurant, for months. So that's why we limited it to these zoning requirements and site plan and subdivision requirements that set these dimensional restrictions. We don't want, and we specifically say, we don't want it to have any impact and be construed to allow waiver of fire codes, building codes, or any safety or health measures. Those will still apply. The restaurants applying for this temporary grace will still have to meet all those safety and health requirements.
Thank you, Attorney Bolton. You've answered all my questions. Thank you.
Alderman Clayton.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm not on either of these committees, but I did want to comment that I agree with this ordinance. It's temporary. It very specifically, as Attorney Bolton identified, very specifically says it does not waive any compliance of building code, fire code, and so on. And in this time where we have to make quick decisions, I think it's important that we give certain people the authorization to be able to do something. doesn't mean that they're going to have carte blanche, that if they've done something that is truly out of, out of what we would hope for, that wouldn't stop us from, pulling this back or doing anything like that. I think it's important to give immediate authority to different individuals, and I hope that you can see fit to make a recommendation of that.
Alderman Jettie.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could ask Director Marchand through you a question. I like the idea of changing the expiration date to November 15th to make it consistent with the other legislation, but what is your reaction? What would be your reaction to that?
Director Marchand.
Sure. Thank you so much, Alderman Jettie. I don't have any concern with it being November 15th if they all line up together. As Attorney Bolton said, this was written first. I will say that I think we are all adapting quickly, and all these restaurants are, and I think culturally we are as well. If this is very successful, and if for some reason restaurants don't open, inside, I think that we have the opportunity to adapt to accommodate outdoor dining longer. And so I think November 15th is still a reasonable deadline, but I know when we've visited other parts of the country or other parts of the world, there's outdoor dining year round with those heating things, and they provide blankets. Not that that would be great in COVID, but there are people who eat outside all year round because that's a better solution. And so I just want to leave us open to the ability to adapt as our world is changing at the moment. But I do think after November 15th, there's going to start to be snow. We have to be ready, and all these businesses and restaurants have to have a plan to deal with that. So I don't think that there's a need to extend beyond that if you want to change it to that.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I think we ought to make it January 1st because I can see if people aren't eating outside, they may be still doing the 15-minute pickup. I can see the downtown changing over and over again. And having worked with Director Marchand extensively, I have full confidence in her decision and knowledge base to be able to make these decisions on our behalf.
Thank you, Alderman Dowd. The chair does have a question to Director Marchand. By keeping the January 1st, would that just kind of enhance the fun for the whole holiday stroll and wouldn't take much more to change it?
This area doesn't actually generally include Main Street. So the Main Street includes the D1 district. The D1 district is generally exempt from site plan review. So this is mainly for all the restaurants that are not on our Main Street or in our core D1 district.
Okay. Very good. All right, further questions by members of the committee of the board? Seeing none, we're going to move the question. The pending motion is for final passage by Alderman Tenzer on 020-014. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Schmitz votes yes. Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
And Alderman Clemens.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that is 5 yeas and 0 nays.
All right, the motion carries. Without objection, without a pending motion, 0-20-004 will remain on the table. Also, without objection and the pending motion, 0-20-006 will remain tabled. General discussion. Seeing none. Remarks by Alderman. Man, you guys are good. There's no need for possible non-public session. Alderman Tenzer, do you have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, make a motion to adjourn by roll call vote.
Okay. There's a motion to adjourn. Will the clerk please call the roll?
I will indeed. Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt votes yes. Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderman Tenza.
Yes.
And Alderman Clemens.
Yes.
That's 5 yeas and 0 nays.
All right, motion passes. I'll call the meeting declared closed at 7:49. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.